celebrate Transgender Awareness Week, I'm going to share 5 answers to questions I frequently get asked about being trans. How do I know I'm trans? There's no one way to feel trans, but I think the most important thing is the keyword feel. Do you feel trans on the inside? Does the thought that you might be trans bring you joy? Pay attention to what makes you feel euphoric. Don't get discouraged if you're not figuring it out right away. It really took me years of self-discovery. Can I be trans and non-binary? Yes, not all non-binary people are trans, and not all trans people are non-binary. The definition for being trans is not feeling completely aligned with your assigned gender at birth. This is also true for non-binary people who don't feel completely aligned in the gender binary. It's up to the individual to discover whether they're trans, non-binary, or both trans and non-binary. Do I have to change my pronouns to be trans? No, you do not have to change your pronouns to be trans. Do I need surgery or hormones to be trans? Not at all. If you want surgery or you want to take hormones, that's totally fine. If you don't want surgery and you don't want to take hormones, that's fine too. I want to be the best ally I can for the trans community. Should I change my pronouns? Unless you feel like you really want to change your pronouns, you shouldn't change your pronouns just for the sake of being an ally. A better way to be an ally is being confident in the pronouns you already use, and sharing your pronouns and asking people for their pronouns. There's so much more I could say about this, but if you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments and I'd be happy to answer. And to all my trans folks out there, happy Transgender Awareness Week. I love you all so much.
I think you're all in the head.
And that is exactly why we over here in this community fly the hashtag not an ally. So we don't have to participate in any of these silly little pronoun games. And let me tell you guys real quick what this whole gender ideology did to that young lady we just heard from in the first clip. She identifies as a trans man, her pronouns are he, him, and she got a double mastectomy. I'm not kidding. In a bunch of her TikToks, she's walking around without a jersey on, and she's got the 2 big giant scars across her chest. Some call that zipper tits. I don't, some do. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you guys so much for joining me. So I have a fairly quick and very crazy clown world update for you guys today, and as usual, we have absolutely no time to waste, so let's get into it. Now, if you place your attention on the screen for a moment, so here we have a dating app profile of this sweater chest. Now, I'm not exactly sure what dating app it is, but that's neither here nor there, so let's read through it together. It says, Max, 25, Starbucks, trans woman, 153 kilometers away from what? I don't know. Let's keep going. Then it says, communist, seeking a cuddly comrade. Hit me up if you wanna. And instead of saying Netflix and chill, it says, seize the means of production and chill. What?
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
All right, let's keep it rolling with this fellow who is exhibiting symptoms of a severe case of TDS, also known as Trump derangement syndrome. Now, in this clip, he's not only talking about Donald Trump, he's talking about people who vote for Donald Trump. Somebody commented on his TikTok, vote Trump 2024 MAGA, roll it.
From now on, when anybody comments this on my posts or anyone else's posts, I think what we should do is recognize that this is actually code and we should learn what it really says. Kind of like in the movie They Live, where you put on the sunglasses and you can see the reality of your world. What this says is, I am a member of a domestic terrorist organization and I hate America. That's actually what this really says. See, my glasses help me be able to read through the bullshit.
That's when I realized he was a fucking idiot.
Now, in case you're wondering how someone goes that far off the deep end, this might have a little something to do with it. Now, obviously, that fellow we just heard from watches a lot of CNN and MSNBC, but here we have top Democrat Party political strategist James Carville spewing more inflammatory rhetoric than the last guy. And he's a well-respected political strategist. Now, here is James's message for young people who haven't decided whether or not they're going to get out and vote this year. Listen to what he says happens if Trump wins the election and becomes president again. Talk about going off the deep end. Roll it.
If they get a hold, there will be no government left. There will be no rights left. You'll live under theocracy. You'll end up Christian nationalism. But that's all right, you little fucking 26-year-old. You don't feel like the election's important to me. They're not addressing the issues that I care about.
What did you say? What the f did you just say?
If they get a hold, there will be no government left. There will be no rights left. You'll live under theocracy.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You are a f***ing idiot.
Now, people like James Carville and the fellow we heard before him seem to forget that Trump was already president for 4 years, and his first 3 years as president weren't that bad. And of course, his last year in office, they released the... You know what? Never mind. Anyway, next up, here we have a clip that's going viral of Jerry Seinfeld talking about the death of comedy. Now listen to who he says is killing comedy. Very telling. Roll it.
Nothing really affects comedy. People always need it. They need it so badly, and they don't get it. It used to be you would go home at the end of the day, most people would go, oh, Cheers is on, oh, MASH is on, oh, Mary Tyler Moore is on, All in the Family's on. You just expected, there'll be some funny stuff we can watch on TV tonight. Well, guess what? Where is it? This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people. Mm-hmm. When you write a script and it goes into 4 or 5 different hands, committees, groups, here's our thought about this joke, well, that's the end of your comedy. They move the gates, like in skiing. Yeah. Culture, the gates are moving. Your job is to be agile and clever enough that wherever they put the gates, I'm going to make the gate.
Can you repeat the part of the stuff where you said all about the things? The things?
This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying so much about offending other people.
Oh my goodness! That's the most badass thing I've ever heard.
I would like to say thank you, Jerry Seinfeld, for being a voice of reason and calling out the extreme left, which is just the left, for not only destroying comedy, but destroying basically everything good and decent in this country. Anyway, next up, so this fellow who is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman and calls himself a lesbian is also a therapist. This should be good. Roll it.
Hi, my name is Luz. I'm a trans and polyamorous therapist in Texas, and this is my therapy theme of the week. This week's theme honors Lesbian Visibility Week. As I myself am a trans lesbian, this is what I want to say about lesbians. One of the reasons why I love being a lesbian and I love lesbians is because we get to show the world that it is possible to love outside the dimensions of patriarchy. We, with sapphic love, create an entirely different dimension, an entirely different way of loving people and living, and it's so beautiful. It's as important as the sunshine. The world is a better place with sapphic love in it.
Man, you are one twisted f***.
And this one is the exact opposite of what we just saw. This is a biological woman that identifies as a trans man, or excuse me, trans guy, as she calls it. Roll it.
I'm a trans guy, which means I was born female, and I've been on testosterone for 2 years, which means my brain and my body now function like a male. If anyone wants to argue with me about that, I'm gonna need you to go through puberty twice, and then I will listen to your opinion. One on each side. That's exactly what I did. I went through male puberty. So all of the things that you would expect to happen to a cisgender male during puberty happened to me. I mean, genuinely all of them. Every single one. Hungry feels like an emotion now. I used to be a pretty big crier. I'm a water sign, so it used to just be like one sad video and the floodgates were open, but now I don't cry really that often at all. I should cry. I should. It all turns into rage instead. If I get a little too overwhelmed, a little bit too sad, a little bit too even, I just get angry. I also just have like dumb boy brain. I don't know how to explain. I want to hang off of things. I want to jump off of ledges. So a lot of people have talked about becoming gayer when they start testosterone, and I actually kind of had the opposite thing happen to me. I'm chronically ill and currently unable to work right now, so I make my money off of TikTok. So if you could click a bunch of buttons for me, I would really, really appreciate that. Thanks so much. Have a good day.
She's fit for a straitjacket. This broad's 3 ways towards the weekend.
Real quick, before we go any further, I want to give a huge shout out to the sponsors of today's video. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to let this loop on the screen. I guess this young lady gives a whole new meaning to the phrase, shut your mouth. Anyway, today's video is being brought to us by our first sponsor is Brian Tresser. Brian, thank you so much, sir, for sponsoring today's video. I really appreciate the kind words, generosity, and support. And as I said previously, Brian has sponsored several videos, so you're going to hear me shouting him out as a sponsor every now and again. Second sponsor of today's video is the Etsy store Red Clover Fields. Now, many of you know that is my wife's Etsy store. She's got some fantastic stuff on her website, stuff I use every day, and I swear by it. So if you're looking for some natural remedies, definitely go peruse her store. I will put a link to that in the description box below. So once again, today's video sponsors are Brian Tresser and the Etsy store Red Clover Fields. Now, if you'd like to sponsor the next video and help support the channel, there is a PayPal link in the description box below, and I will say your full name as a sponsor of said video unless stated otherwise by you. All right, this is starting to make my face hurt. Get this off the screen, please. Oof.
Shut the f up, okay? Shut the f up!
All right, next up we have this fellow who is a biological man that identifies as a trans woman and also a former evangelical pastor. Interesting. Roll it.
I'm a transgender woman and former evangelical pastor. And did you know that the Bible actually talks about gender variant people? In Matthew 19, Jesus says that eunuchs were born that way. Some became eunuchs. Eunuchs in biblical times were gender variant people. They were able to move in and out of gendered spaces, and they were without gender in most cases. And so for us to make arguments that the Bible condemns gender variant people is absolutely not a biblical argument. So when we read Matthew 19, we need to read the words of Jesus carefully, because we are in fact affirmed and not condemned by Jesus himself.
You're all going to hell. Goodbye.
All right, guys, we're going to be wrapping it up with this clip from The View. Now, it's obviously off some news channel. I'm not quite for sure exactly what news channel it is. I saw it floating around on X, formerly known as Twitter. Now, Joy Behart's going to talk about the old saying, when fascism comes to America. Except she gets it 100% wrong. Now, I'm not sure who originally said it, but Ronald Reagan said it years ago, so check this out in case you haven't heard it.
Someone very profoundly once said, many years ago, that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
If fascism ever comes to America, it will come in the name of liberalism. Well, what's your Joy Behart spin on that? Anyway, things are clearly getting very crazy out there, guys, so please take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Till next time, love you guys. Peace. Roll it.
It's Holy Week, and so I cannot say what I would like to say.
Well, can I just quote that there's an old saying, and it's a historical saying, that, and I'm not sure who said it, when fascism comes to America, it will be waving a flag and holding a Bible. Take a look. Yep. Where is it? There it is. There it is.
Oh, yeah, that's
when fascism comes to America, it will be waving a flag and holding a Bible.
Yeah.
That is what we are looking at right now. Remember that in November.
It's blasphemous.
Bitches be crazy.
And you ain't black.